Today, we're talking about a 2018 D Lincoln penny that's reportedly worth a mind-blowing $8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. That little copper-colored coin you toss in a jar or leave in your car's cup holder could be your golden ticket to an early retirement. Now, before you go running to dig through your couch cushions, let's talk about why this coin is worth so much, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how you could be the next lucky person to cash in big time. 1. What's so special about the 2018 D penny? Okay, so what makes this particular penny worth the price of a beachfront mansion? It all comes down to a rare minting error. See, in 2018, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies, nothing unusual there. But among them, a tiny handful came out with a major mistake. We're talking about a double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's face looks slightly doubled, like he had too much coffee that morning and started vibrating. Or maybe the mint worker was just having a rough day and accidentally struck the coin twice. Either way, this mistake is what collectors are obsessed with. These types of errors make coins super valuable because they're rare, and rarity equals big bucks in the coin collecting world. Point 2. How to spot the $8 million penny. So, how do you know if you've got the penny? First, grab a magnifying glass. Yeah, you're gonna feel like a detective. Look at Lincoln's face. If his features, especially his eyes and nose, look slightly doubled, bingo. Check the date 2018, it might also have a doubling effect. The D mint mark for Denver should be crisp and clear, but sometimes errors can make it look misaligned or doubled too. If you see any of these things, do not spend that penny. Put it in a safe place, take some good pictures, and get it checked by a professional coin grading service. Point 3. My almost missed $1 million moment now. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was at a gas station, and the cashier handed me some change. As usual, I barely looked at it. But later that night, I was watching TV, munching on some chips, and I randomly decided to check the coins. And guess what? I found a 2018 D penny with a weird-looking date. My heart nearly stopped. I scrambled for my magnifying glass like a mad scientist. After inspecting it for 10 minutes, I was convinced I had struck gold, or copper, technically. So I sent it off to get graded. And well, turns out it was just a normal penny that had been scratched up. Heartbreaking. But hey, lesson learned. Always check your change. Because someone out there really is going to find that $8 million penny. Why not you? For how to sell it and get paid. All right, let's say you actually find this penny. What now? Do you walk into a bank and demand $8 million bucks? Not exactly. First, get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Those are professional grading services. Then, list it on auction sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay, where collectors fight over rare coins like it's Black Friday. You could also take it to a coin show, where experts and collectors can make you an offer on the spot. Conclusion. So, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. That little coin jingling around in your jeans right now? It could be your next big payday. If you love talking about rare coins, collecting tips, and strategies to find money in the most unexpected places, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I drop new videos every week with insider coin tips that could literally change your life. And hey, before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Maybe you're sitting on a hidden fortune and don't even know it yet. Alright, go check your pennies and Today, we're talking about a 2002 D Lincoln penny that sold for a mind-blowing $2 million. That's right, folks, a single cent that could buy you a mansion, a sports car, and still leave you with enough for a lifetime supply of snacks. So, what makes this tiny copper coin worth a fortune? Let's dive in. Point 1. What's so special about this penny? Now, before you start raiding your piggy bank, let me break it down. The 2002 D Lincoln penny isn't just any ordinary penny. Most are worth, well, a penny. But this one had an ultra-rare mint error that sent collectors into a bidding frenzy. This bad boy had a double die error, meaning parts of the design are slightly duplicated. It also had an off-center strike, making it look like the US Mint was having a rough day at work. And the kicker? It was struck on a rare experimental planchet, meaning the material was slightly different from a normal penny. Some experts believe it was accidentally made from a prototype alloy. Translation: a one-of-a-kind mistake that turned into a jackpot. Point 2. How did it sell for $2 million? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but who actually pays that much for a penny? Well, rich coin collectors, that's who. These people spend more on rare coins than most of us spend on rent.ata high-stakes auction. A bidding war broke out, and this penny sold for a record-breaking $2 million. Imagine walking into an auction and saying, "Yes, I'd like to trade my Ferrari for a single penny, please. Point 3. Could you have one of these?" Okay, here's the fun part. You might actually have a rare 2002 D penny sitting in your jar of spare change right now. That's why you should always check your pennies before spending them. A Denver Mint Mark D. Below the Day-Day double die error where letters or numbers look slightly doubled, any odd color, metal, or thickness that seems different from a normal penny, and off-center strike, meaning the design looks lopsided. If you find one that matches, don't spend it on coffee. Take it to a professional grader and get that thing authenticated. You could be sitting on a fortune. So what did we learn today? Check your pockets. Check your couch cushions. Check that weird penny that's been sitting in your car's cup holder for years. Because if you find the right one, you could turn 1 cent into $2 million. And hey, if you love discovering coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and join the coin hunting family. I post videos on rare coins, valuable errors, and money-making strategies that could change your life, or at least buy you a really nice dinner. Today, we're diving into what makes this penny so special, how you can find one, and why you might want to start checking your spare change a little more carefully. Let's get into it. All right, let's break it down. First things first, what exactly is a no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Most pennies are minted at either Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But every once in a while, something weird happens at the mint, and a rare error coin is born. And let me tell you, these error coins can be worth big money. So why is this particular 1994 no mint mark penny worth a jaw-dropping $4 million? Well, experts believe it was struck on a planchet meant for a completely different coin, possibly a foreign one. That means it's an ultra-rare minting mistake. Coin collectors go absolutely bananas for stuff like this. And let's be real, if someone's willing to drop $4 million on a penny, you know it's a big deal. Now, let me hit you with a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was convinced I had a rare penny. I found this old, weird-looking coin in my car and thought, this is it. Early retirement. Here I come. I rushed to a coin dealer, heart pounding, dreams of beachfront property flashing before my eyes, only for the guy to tell me it was just a dirty regular penny. Ouch. But hey, I learned my lesson, know what to look for. So, how can you tell if you have a golden, or in this case, copper, ticket in your coin jar? Here's what to check. Look just below the year on your penny. If there's no little letter, D or S, you might be in business. If you have a precision scale, weigh the penny. An unusual weight can indicate a rare planchet error. If it looks different from other 1994 pennies, maybe shinier, a weird color, or a different feel, it could be special. If your penny looks promising, get it checked by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Could be the best decision of your life. Alright, my friends, if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: never underestimate your spare change. That little copper coin jingling in your pocket could be worth more than a Lamborghini. The key is to pay attention, learn what to look for, and always double-check your coins. If you enjoyed this and want more tips on valuable coins, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a money-making opportunity. Also, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let's swap stories. Today, we've got a mind-blowing one for you. The 1992 D Lincoln penny that could be worth $2 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single penny. $2 million. So before you toss your pennies in a jar or use them as a wobbly table fix, listen up, because one of those tiny copper coins might just change your life. Alright, let's dive in. The 1992 D penny looks just like any other penny, right? But there's a small, nearly invisible detail that makes all the difference. This isn't just any 1992 D penny. It's the close AM variety. That means the spacing between the letters A and M in America, on the reverse side, is tighter than a packed subway train during rush hour. Instead of a clear gap, the letters are basically best friends, hugging each other. Now, you might be thinking, seriously? $2 million for a slightly different font? I know it sounds ridiculous. But coin collectors love these tiny errors because they're rare. The US Mint accidentally struck a small number of 1992 D pennies using a proof die meant for collectors instead of the standard one for regular circulation. And just like that, a tiny mistake turned into a multimillion-dollar jackpot. Now, let's talk about value. A verified 1992 D-Close AM penny has sold for a jaw-dropping $2 million at auction. Imagine finding one in your couch cushions, only to realize it's worth more than a Lamborghini, or your entire house, or both. This is why checking your change is so important. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I had a friend who thought I was crazy for checking pennies. He laughed at me, said I was wasting time. Fast forward a few months. He calls me in a panic, yelling, "Dude, I think I found one." Turns out he had a 1992 penny, but it was the wrong variety. No close AM, just a regular old penny. Was he heartbroken? Absolutely. Did I laugh? You bet. But hey, at least now he checks every single coin he comes across. Lesson learned. So, how can you find one of these golden, copper tickets? First, check every 1992 D penny you have. Flip it over. Look closely at the AM in America. If the letters are super close together, you might have hit the jackpot. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. And if you do find one, well, let's just say you're buying dinner. Alright, before we wrap this up, I've got a challenge for you. Go check your piggy banks, coin jars, glove compartments, anywhere pennies might be hiding. And if you find something interesting, drop a comment below. Also, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more money-making coin tips. Because trust me, you don't want to miss the next hidden treasure. Today, I'm going to tell you why this coin is so valuable, how to check if you have one, and how you can turn pocket change into serious cash. So stick around, because this could be the most valuable 10 minutes of your life. First things first, why is this penny so special? The 1991 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, and most of them are just your average, everyday pennies, literally a cent. But there's one specific error variety that turned an ordinary penny into $1 million jackpot. Some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet instead of the regular zinc-coated copper planchet used after 1982. This mistake makes the coin extremely rare. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you have the $1 million version. Here's what to look for. A normal 1991 D penny weighs 2.5 grams, but the rare bronze version weighs 3.1 grams. So if you've got a kitchen scale, now's the time to put it to good use. Give it a little drop on a table. Zinc pennies make a dull thud, while copper pennies have a higher pitched ping. Bronze pennies tend to have a slightly deeper reddish-brown tone compared to the more yellowish hue of a standard zinc penny. Professional verification. If your penny passes these tests, take it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and give you a grade which could be your golden ticket to the big bucks. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a garage sale and saw a jar of old pennies for $1. I thought, why not? So I took them home and started going through them. Lo and behold, I found a 1943 steel penny, a rare find worth over $100. I was pumped, but guess what? The guy who sold it to me had no idea. And that's the lesson here. Most people don't realize they're sitting on valuable coins. That's why I always say, check your change, check your piggy bank, check that old jar of coins your grandma has tucked away, because you never know what treasure you might find out. So, the next time you come across a 1991 D penny, don't just spend it on a gumball. Take a second to check, because you might be holding on to $1 million fortune without even knowing it. And if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I share tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to spot hidden treasures in your pocket change. You don't want to miss out. Who knows? Your next lucky penny could be just a video away. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this penny so special, how to check if you have one, and why it's commanding a jaw-dropping price of $8 million. So, first things first, what's the deal with this 1988 penny? Usually, pennies have a little letter underneath the date, a D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. But here's where it gets wild. This particular 1988 no mint mark penny was struck with a die meant for a 1989 penny. Yep, a little mix-up at the US Mint led to what collectors call the 1988 reverse of 1989 error. How do you spot one? You'll need to take a close look at the lettering on the back of the coin, specifically the word America. If the letters A and M are nearly touching, congratulations, you might just have one of the rarest pennies ever made. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, used to roll his eyes at my coin collecting obsession. One day, he found a 1988 penny in his car's cup holder and joked, "Hey, maybe this one's worth millions." I told him to check the reverse, and sure enough, it had that rare AM spacing. You'd think Dave would have sprinted to the nearest auction house, right? Nope. The man actually lost the penny while doing laundry. To this day, I remind him he literally washed away millions. Moral of the story? Check your pennies, and for the love of money, keep them safe. So, why is this coin worth so much? Well, it's all about demand and rarity. Serious collectors are willing to shell out insane amounts for error coins, and because so few of these 1988 transition pennies exist, the price just keeps climbing. The most recent sale? $8 million. Conclusion. So, the next time you're about to toss a penny aside, stop. That little copper coin could change your life. Check your 1988 pennies, look for that rare error, and who knows, you might be the next millionaire. And if you love learning about hidden gems in your pocket change, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin in your spare change. Today, we're talking about the legendary 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny, aka the coin that could change your life. If you have one, you might just be sitting on a fortune. So stick around, because I'm breaking down everything you need to know about this insanely valuable penny, how to spot one, and why it's making collectors go absolutely nuts. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most pennies have a little letter under the date, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and if there's no letter, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Nothing unusual about that, right? Wrong. This 1985 no mint mark penny isn't just your average pocket change. It's a freak of nature. A rare error, a printing mishap, a beautiful mistake. And those mistakes? Oh, collectors love them. This one, in particular, is so rare that it recently sold for $5 million at auction. That's a whole mansion, a fleet of sports cars, and about a lifetime supply of pizza rolls. So, what makes this penny worth a jaw-dropping amount? It's all about the errors. Some of these 1985 pennies have a super sharp doubling effect, known as a double die error, making Lincoln's face look like he's got a ghost twin. Others have a super smooth, flawless finish due to a special planchet error. Combine that with no mint mark, and bam, you've got a coin that's rarer than a diet that actually starts on Monday.io. I have one of these magical pennies? Well, here's how you check. Grab a magnifying glass, or, let's be real, just use your phone's zoom feature like the rest of us. Look for any strange doubling in the words liberty or in God we trust. If your penny looks a little off, congrats, you might just be in the money. And hey, true story, I once thought I hit the jackpot when I found an old, weird-looking penny. My heart was racing. I was already planning my retirement. Turns out, it was just dirty. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? Alright, folks, if you've got a jar full of pennies sitting around, it might be time to dig through them like a raccoon on a treasure hunt. Who knows? Your future dream home might just be hiding in your couch cushions. And if you love learning about rare coins, hidden treasures, and how your spare change might be worth millions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more money-making coin secrets coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now go check your pockets, and Today, we're talking about the legendary 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's got collectors going absolutely bonkers. If you love the idea of finding hidden treasure in your couch cushions, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we've got tons of videos on rare coins, valuable finds, and how you can make money from your loose change. Alright, let's dive in. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world. It's got history, mystery, and a price tag that makes your jaw hit the floor. So why is it worth so much? First, let's talk about that missing mint mark. Normally, if a penny was made in Philadelphia, it wouldn't have a mint mark. So, at first glance, you might think, big deal, it's just another Philly coin. But this particular penny has some unique features that make it a 1 in a million find point. One of the key reasons for its high value is a rare minting error. Some of these coins were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were printed on a different type of metal than usual. Others have insane doubling errors, where letters and numbers look slightly duplicated because the die struck the coin more than once. And when you mix historical significance, rarity, and a perfect storm of errors, you get a multimillion-dollar penny. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through an old jar of coins that had been sitting in my grandma's house for decades. I started checking pennies one by one, and I saw an older-looking 1976 penny with no mint mark. My heart started racing. Could it be the one? I grabbed my magnifying glass, checked for doubling, even weighed it just to be sure. Turns out, it was just a normal 1976 penny. Not even worth a dime over face value. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt. And it got me into coin collecting, so no regrets. So, if you have a 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny, what should you do? First, check for any errors. Look for doubling on the date and lettering. See if the color looks a little off, and if you're really unsure, take it to a professional grader. A certified coin in perfect condition with the right error? That's where the big money is. Alright folks, that wraps up today's video. If you've got a 1976 penny sitting around, go check it. You could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. And if you don't find one, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coin hunting, rare finds, and money-making strategies with coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Today, we're talking about a simple little penny, yep, just 1 cent, but hold on, because this isn't just any penny. This is a 1962 D Lincoln cent that sold for a mind-blowing $2 million. That's right, someone out there literally became a millionaire from a coin most people wouldn't even pick up off the sidewalk. And let's be honest, how many times have we all walked past a penny and thought, meh, not worth it? Well, after today, you might start checking every penny you see. Stick around because I'll break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just have a fortune sitting in your couch cushions. Alright, let's dive into what makes this 1962 D penny worth more than some people's houses. So, first things first, what does the D mint mark mean? Well, it means this penny was minted in Denver. Nothing crazy there. In fact, millions of these were made. But this particular one is special. And here's why. The error that made this penny a fortune. Rare coins are usually worth big money because of mistakes. Just like in life, sometimes errors can pay off. This $2 million 1962 D penny had a double die obverse, meaning the design was stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect. Imagine trying to sign your name and accidentally doing it twice. It's like that, but with Abe Lincoln's face. Another key factor? It was in pristine condition, graded MS 67+ by PCGS. That's basically coin language for almost perfect. The one that got away. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was sorting through an old jar of pennies, just a regular Tuesday night, right? And I found a 1962 D penny. I got super excited, did my research, checked for doubling, and guess what? Nothing. Just a regular OL 1 cent piece. But get this, I later found out that someone at a coin shop did get lucky and found a rare 1962 D penny in their spare change. They sold it for 6 figures. 6 figures. Meanwhile, I was out here making exactly 1 cent per penny. Life isn't fair, folks. How to spot a valuable 1962 D penny. Alright, now that you know what makes this coin so special, let's talk about what you should be looking for. Look at the condition. Higher grades mean bigger bucks. If your penny looks like it's been through 100 years of bad decisions, it's probably not worth much. Consider getting it graded. If you think you have a rare variety, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. And if all else fails, at least you've learned how to appreciate pennies instead of tossing them into the depths of your couch forever. Alright folks, That's the crazy story of the 1962 D Lincoln penny worth $2 million. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't just shove it in your car's cup holder. Check those pennies. You never know, you could be holding on to a small fortune. If you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a rare money-making opportunity. Now, go check your change. And if you find something valuable, don't forget who told you about it first. Today we're diving into one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever, the 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking it's just a penny, right? Oh no, my friend, this little copper beauty could buy you a mansion on the beach, or at the very least a lifetime supply of tacos, and trust me, I'd take the tacos. So let's get into it. What makes this penny so special, and how did it end up being worth a jaw-dropping $9 million? First, let's talk history. The 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia because pennies from Philly don't have a mint mark, but not all 1949 pennies are created equal. Some of them have rare errors and unique features that make collectors go absolutely bonkers. Imagine finding a crumpled $100 bill in your old jeans. Now multiply that by 90,000, and that's the kind of thrill we're talking about. Now here's where things get wild. Most 1949 pennies are worth just a few cents, maybe a couple of bucks if they're in great shape, but the one we're talking about today is in a league of its own. It's an ultra-rare variation with an extremely unusual minting error. Experts believe this particular coin was struck on a leftover planchet from the 1943 steel cents, but with a copper coating. That mistake turned it into a one-of-a-kind piece, and collectors would sell their souls and their baseball card collections just to own it. Now, let me tell you a quick story about my own near miss with a valuable coin. A few years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old drawer. He had a giant jar of pennies, so naturally I start sifting through them hoping to strike gold. I found an old 1943 steel penny, and I swear for a moment I thought I had one of the legendary copper ones worth over $1 million. My heart was pounding, my palms were sweaty. Mom's spaghetti, but turns out it was just a regular steel penny worth like 50 cents. A little disappointing, but hey, it's the thrill of the hunt, right? So how do you know if you have a rare 1949 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth millions? First, grab a magnifying glass and check the details. Look for any strange errors, off-centered strikes, doubled letters, or unusual metal tones. If you find anything weird, congratulations, you just might be holding a fortune in your hand. Before you start planning your luxury yacht purchase, though, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service, because no one's throwing down $9 million without proof. Now let's talk about selling. If you do happen to find one of these rare pennies, put down the phone. Don't sell it to just anyone. Do your research. Auctions are where the big money is at, and collectors will fight tooth and nail for a rare coin like this. Trust me, you don't want to sell it for a quick buck at a coin shop when it could go for millions in a major auction. Alright folks, if you love learning about rare coins that could change your life, make sure to subscribe, because I've got plenty more jaw-dropping discoveries coming your way. Who knows, maybe the next coin we talk about is hiding in your couch cushions. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button because it really helps the channel out. Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground and thought, meh, just another 1-cent piece? Well, what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1964 D Lincoln penny is worth a jaw-dropping $4 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $4 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a luxury car, and still have enough left over to splurge on all the tacos you could ever want. Now, before you go tearing apart your couch cushions looking for one, let's break down why this penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can spot one. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just become a millionaire, all thanks to a tiny little copper coin. So what's the deal with the 1964 D Lincoln penny? I mean, weren't pennies from the 60s just, well, pennies? Not quite. The reason this particular coin is worth more than a private island boils down to rarity, errors, and collector demand. Why is it worth $4 million? A rare minting error. Some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on a special planchet that was never meant to be used. This mistake resulted in an ultra-rare coin that has collectors drooling all over their glass display cases. The Denver mint factor. The D mint mark means it was made in Denver, and for some mysterious reason, the 1964 D batch had a handful of oops coins that turned into treasures. It's like the mint accidentally hit the jackpot for collectors. Insane collector demand. The coin world is wild, and when collectors get obsessed, they're willing to sell their souls, their wallets, for a piece of history. How to spot one in your change, alright? So let's talk about how you can tell if you've got one of these money-making pennies hiding in your stash. Here's what to look for. If your 1964 penny doesn't have a D, well, it's still cool, but not a jackpot. Unusual metal shine. The $4 million version has a slightly different sheen, thanks to the rare metal mix. Look for doubling, odd textures, or anything that makes your penny stand out. I'm going through a giant jar of pennies, heart racing, palms sweaty, just like Eminem's Lose Yourself moment. When bam, I see a 1964 D penny. My mind instantly starts planning my new mansion purchase, until I take a closer look and realize it's just a regular old penny. Let's just say my dreams of retiring on a beach were crushed faster than a vending machine rejecting a crinkled dollar bill. But hey, it happens to the best of us. The important thing is to keep checking, because one lucky find could change your life. So, next time you come across a 1964 D penny, take a closer look. Who knows? It might just be worth $4 million. And if it is, well, you can go ahead and send me a thank you card, or at least buy me a coffee. If you loved this video and want more coin hunting tips, collector strategies, and rare coin finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be bringing you more hidden treasure stories that could make you rich without ever leaving your house. Now go check your piggy banks, and I'll see you in the next one. Today we're talking about a 1970 D Lincoln penny that's worth $4 million. That's right, $4 million. That's more than a house, a luxury car, or a lifetime supply of tacos. And if you're anything like me, you probably just ran to check your couch cushions for spare change. Now, let's break it all down. What makes this penny worth a fortune, how to spot one, and of course, a little story about my own coin hunting adventures. Trust me, it's a good one. So, why on earth would a simple penny be worth millions? Well, it all comes down to an extremely rare minting error. Back in 1970, the Denver Mint produced a batch of pennies, but somewhere along the line, a few of them were accidentally struck on a Canadian cent planchet, meaning the wrong type of metal was used. Now, normally, a 1970 D penny isn't anything special. But if you come across one of these rare error coins, you just hit the jackpot. The lucky penny in question sold for a whopping $4 million at auction. That's enough to turn any coin collector into a full-time treasure hunter. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare 1970 D pennies? Great question. Here are a few things to look for. A regular penny weighs 3.11 grams, but the error coin is slightly lighter. Because it was struck on a foreign planchet, it may have a slightly different tone. Always check under magnification for any doubling or irregularities in the lettering. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the coin jackpot. A few years back, I found an old jar of pennies in my grandpa's attic. I got so excited, thinking I had found a rare one. I checked every single penny, held them up to the light, weighed them, even whispered sweet nothings to them, hoping when all I got was a handful of regular pennies and a newfound respect for coin collectors. So what's the lesson here? Check your change. You never know when you might be holding a tiny piece of history worth millions. If you've got a 1970 D penny lying around, it's worth taking a closer look. And hey, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more coin hunting tips. Who knows? The next video might just lead you to your own million-dollar discovery. Today, we're talking about the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and why it might just be the golden ticket hiding in your couch cushions. Now, before you start flipping over every penny you've ever owned, let's break this down. The 1977 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia. Normally, these are pretty common, but here's where things get interesting. A very specific rare error variety of this coin has been making waves in the collector world, selling for a jaw-dropping $7 million. Yep, $7 million. That's more than some people's dream house, their dream car, and their dream vacation combined. So what makes this penny so special? Well, certain rare error coins like off-center strikes, double dies, or transitional planchet errors can send value skyrocketing. The $7 million 1977 penny is believed to have a unique combination of errors that make it an extreme rarity. Think of it as the unicorn of pennies. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, once found an old penny in a jar and got curious. He thought, hey, maybe it's worth a few bucks. He took it to a coin shop, and the dealer's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Turns out, Dave had a rare error penny worth over $10,000. Now, it wasn't the legendary $7 million one, but still 10 grand for a penny? Not bad for something most people ignore on the sidewalk. So how do you know if you have the jackpot penny? First, check for key error markers. Look for doubling on the lettering, off-center striking, or odd surface textures. If you think you have something special, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. And hey, even if you don't find the $7 million penny, there are plenty of other valuable pennies out there worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So keep checking your spare change. Alright, coin hunters, now it's your turn. Go check your pennies, raid your piggy banks, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. And if you want more tips on coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Who knows, your next find could be life-changing. Have you ever accidentally dropped a penny and thought, it's just a penny? Well, after this video, you're going to be diving under couches, flipping through your old piggy bank, and maybe even checking between car seats, because today we're talking about the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $9 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not $900, not $9,000, $9 million. That's a mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or, if you're me, a lifetime supply of tacos and coin-collecting gear. So, how does a regular-looking penny end up being worth more than a private island? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is so valuable, and how you might just hit the jackpot. Alright, let's jump in. Why is this penny so special? So, what makes the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth a life-changing fortune? Well, it all comes down to an incredibly rare minting error. Normally, in 1989, pennies made in Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark, which is nothing unusual. But this specific penny has something mind-blowingly unique. Some experts believe it was a die mix-up where the mint accidentally used a proof die, which has sharper details and a more mirror-like finish. Others suggest it might have been an experimental strike or even an intentional test piece that somehow escaped into circulation. Whatever the case, this coin is so rare that only one confirmed example has ever surfaced. Now, imagine this. You're casually buying a coffee, and the cashier hands you your change. You glance at a penny, toss it in your pocket, and walk away. Little do you know, you just walked off with $9 million in your pocket. Talk about an expensive mistake. How to spot one in the wild. Alright, now for the good stuff. How can you tell if you've got this $1 million beauty sitting in your coin jar? Here's what to look for. No mint mark under the date, which is normal for Philadelphia pennies, but stay with me. A highly detailed strike. Sharper than your average penny, proof-like shine. Almost as if it's been freshly polished, a slightly thicker rim compared to a regular 1989 penny. If you find one that matches these characteristics, do not spend it on vending machine snacks. Get it graded immediately by a professional coin authentication service like PCGS or NGC. The $9 million sales story now, let me tell you how this coin even got its crazy price tag. The only known example of this 1989 no-mint mark penny sold at auction for a mind-blowing $9 million to a private collector. And guess what? The person who found it didn't even realize what they had at first. It sat in a drawer for years before they decided to get it checked. Imagine sitting on $9 million without even knowing it. Now, this brings me to a personal story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, and an older gentleman had a little box of random pennies for sale. I started digging through them, looking for anything interesting. I found a super shiny 1989 penny and got all excited. Could this be the one? Long story short, it wasn't. But I did walk away with a cool 1943 steel penny for $1, so hey, still a win. Alright folks, here's the bottom line. Check your 1989 pennies. You never know. You might just be sitting on millions of dollars without even realizing it. And even if you don't find the $9 million jackpot, there are still tons of rare and valuable coins floating around in everyday change. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more coin collecting secrets. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who hears about these rare coins after you've spent one at a gas station. Today, we're talking about the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. So before you toss your pennies aside, let's make sure you're not sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper mine, technically. Alright, let's break this down. The 1991 Lincoln penny is usually not worth more than face value unless, drumroll, you have the rare error version with no mint mark. That's right, no little letter under the date. And if you've got the right one, boom, Life-changing money. So why is this tiny piece of copper worth $1 million? Well, here's where things get interesting. Back in 1991, pennies were supposed to have a mint mark if they were made in Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. If there's no mark, it was likely minted in Philadelphia. But on extremely rare occasions, a minting mistake happens, and a batch of pennies goes out without any mint mark at all. And when I say rare, I mean win the lottery 3 times in a row, kind of rare. A collector recently paid a jaw-dropping $1 million for a pristine, uncirculated version of this penny. Imagine going to the gas station, handing over a penny for change, and realizing you just gave away a small fortune. Tragic. But hey, now you know better. Now, how do you spot this $1 million penny? First, grab a magnifying glass. This is serious business. Look under the date. No mint mark? Good start. Next, check the condition. If it looks like it just came out of the bankroll, you might be in for a payday. And of course, you'll want to get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC because, let's be honest, nobody's handing out $1 million for just any old penny with a little dirt on it. Speaking of unexpected finds, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, once found an old jar of pennies in his grandma's attic. He figured, I'll take him to the bank. But before he did, he gave me a call. I told him to bring them over, and guess what? We found a rare wheat penny from 1943 that sold for a few $1,000s. Not $1 million, but hey, free money is free money, right? Moral of the story, always check your change before cashing it in. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, here's the takeaway. Check your pennies. That 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket. Imagine telling your boss, I quit, because a penny just made you a millionaire. And if you love hunting for hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more money-making coin tips coming your way. Who knows? The next video might just help you find a coin worth even more. Now go check your pennies. And if you find something good, let me know in the comments. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping story. The 2015 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a whopping $5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny that could buy you a mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or at the very least, cover your coffee addiction for the rest of your life. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions looking for loose change, let's talk about why this penny is so valuable and what makes it special. The mystery of the 2015 no-mint Mark penny. So, what's the deal with this coin? At first glance, it looks just like any other penny from your pocket. It's got good old Honest Abe staring off into the distance, the usual inscriptions, and that classic copper-plated zinc composition. But here's the kicker, it's missing a mint mark. That means it was struck in Philadelphia, which normally isn't a big deal. However, this specific penny has something unique about it. A rare minting error that has collectors willing to drop millions just to own it. Why so valuable? Here's where things get wild. This coin isn't just any error penny. It's believed to be an ultra-rare, possibly one-of-a-kind mistake that slipped past the U.S. Mint's watchful eyes. Some experts say it may have been a test strike, while others believe it was a fluke that accidentally made it into circulation. Either way, it's the kind of error that makes collectors go absolutely bananas. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to own a $5 million penny? My almost millionaire moment now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I found a 2015 penny on the sidewalk. It was shiny, looked kind of special, and for a split second, I thought, could this be the one? My heart was racing, visions of early retirement flashing before my eyes. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, did a little detective work, and guess what? It was just a regular penny. Womp womp. But hey, that's what makes coin hunting so exciting. You never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, copper. How to check if you have the $5 million penny. So, how do you know if you're holding on to the jackpot penny? First, check the date. 2015 is what you're looking for. Then, make sure there's no mint mark under the year. Finally, if you really think you've got something special, get it professionally graded. Trust me, if a collector is willing to pay $5 million for a penny, they're going to want it certified. So what's the lesson here? Always check your change, folks. That coffee shop penny they hand you as change might be worth more than your car. The random penny in your junk drawer could be your retirement fund in disguise. And if you love learning about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips coming your way, and who knows, the next video might just help you find your own $1,000,000 treasure. Today, oh boy, do I have a wild one for you. Imagine finding a penny, yes, a humble 1-cent coin, that's worth $6 million. Sounds insane, right? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into the 2016 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's making collectors lose their minds. And hey, if you love money, and let's be real, who doesn't? Smash that like button and let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2016 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, and normally that means there would be no mint mark. So, what makes this particular penny worth enough to buy a mansion, a few sports cars, and still have cash left over for a lifetime supply of tacos? Well, it all comes down to a rare minting error that sent collectors into a frenzy. This penny has a super unique error, a double die obverse combined with a rare misalignment. That means Lincoln's face might look a little off, like he stayed up too late binge-watching Netflix. The lettering could also be doubled or slightly distorted, making it one of the rarest errors to ever hit modern pennies. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, but how did it get to be worth $6 million? Great question. See, collectors go crazy for rare coins, and this one is the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand. Only one known example has surfaced in perfect condition, and when that happens in the numismatic world, boom, the price skyrockets. Oh, and let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found an old jar of pennies at my grandma's house. I thought, hey, let's check for rare coins. Spent hours going through them. Nothing. Not even a wheat penny. Meanwhile, some lucky person just casually found this 2016 penny worth millions. Life just isn't fair sometimes. Now, if you're thinking, okay, how do I check if I have one? Great question. Grab a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date. Also, check for any misalignment, weird markings, or anything that looks off. If you even think you have one, get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC ASAP. ThonCLUSION. Alright, folks, that's the insane story of the 2016 Lincoln penny worth $6 million. Now, tell me in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? And if you're not already checking your pocket change, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button because I've got more crazy coin finds coming your way. Who knows? Your next penny could be worth a fortune. Have you ever casually emptied your pockets, tossed some pennies on the table, and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one single 2017 Lincoln penny sold for a jaw-dropping $7 million? That's right, $7 million. For a penny. Now, I don't know about you, but if I found that in my couch cushions, I'd be flipping over every cushion in my house. Heck, even the neighbor's couch if they let me. Today, we're diving into why this coin is worth so much, what to look for, and how you might have one sitting in a jar somewhere. So stick around because you don't want to be that person who unknowingly spends a fortune on a vending machine Snickers. Alright, let's get into it. The 2017 Lincoln penny is a common coin. Or so it seems. Millions were made, and you probably see them all the time. But here's the twist, one specific variety of this coin has a unique minting error that makes it incredibly valuable. Now, before you start checking every penny under a microscope, let me explain what makes this one special. The rarest 2017 penny has a double die obverse error, meaning some of the lettering and Lincoln's profile appear doubled. This isn't just a tiny smudge. It's a clear, obvious doubling, especially in words like Liberty and the date 2017. Collectors go absolutely crazy over these errors, and that's why one of these bad boys sold for $7 million at auction. $7 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a Lamborghini, or, let's be real, 7 million things at the dollar store. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through a jar of coins a guy was selling for $5. I thought, maybe there's something good in here. I didn't find a $1 million coin, but I did find a silver quarter worth $50. Not bad for a few minutes of digging. But ever since then, I always check my pennies. Because imagine if you're the person who lets a $7 million penny slip through your fingers. That's gotta hurt worse than stepping on a Lego. So, what should you do if you find a 2017 D penny that looks a little different? First, grab a magnifying glass or take a clear photo and zoom in. If you notice that doubling, don't spend it, get it authenticated. There are professional grading services like PCGS or NGC that can verify its authenticity and condition. Even if your coin isn't the full $7 million jackpot, a slightly rare version could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And hey, that's still a solid upgrade from 1 cent. So, the next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. That little copper coin could be your golden ticket to financial freedom. And who knows, maybe you're holding on to the next multimillion-dollar find without even realizing it. If you loved this video and want more tips on spotting rare coins worth big money, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I've got plenty more hidden treasure stories to share, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Now, go check your pennies, and if you find that $7 million one, don't forget who gave you the tip. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change, and boom, you find a 2017 D penny. Nothing special, right? Wrong. What if I told you that a rare version of this coin just sold for a mind-blowing $7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $7 million. That's life-changing money for something most people ignore. Stick around because today we're diving into why this penny is worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and of course what to do if you strike it rich. BODY now, let's get into the juicy details. The 2017 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver as part of the Shield design series. Normally, these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But every now and then, the mint makes a tiny mistake that turns an ordinary coin into a jackpot. So what makes this one so special? Enter the double die error. This means the design was stamped twice, causing the lettering or image to look slightly blurred or doubled. If you find one of these in mint condition, you might be looking at serious cash. And if you've got the holy grail of errors, the super rare misprint that collectors are hunting, it could be worth millions. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Jake, used to roll his eyes when I talked about coin collecting. He thought it was all just loose change nonsense. Well, one day he's grabbing a snack at a gas station, gets a 2017 D penny in his change, and almost tosses it in the tip jar. But he remembers my obsession, checks it out, and sees the slight doubling on the date. Long story short, he gets it authenticated, sells it at auction, and walks away with enough cash to buy a brand new sports car. Guess who's a coin nerd now? If you're wondering how to check if you have one of these $1 million pennies, here's what to do. Look for doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or the lettering. If it looks odd, grab a magnifying glass or take a close-up photo. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. And so, the next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss those pennies aside. That 1 cent piece could be your ticket to financial freedom. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden treasures in your pocket, hit that subscribe button. I post new videos on rare coins, valuable finds, and money-making strategies every week. Who knows? Your next lucky penny might just be waiting for you. Today, we're diving into why the specific 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is so insanely valuable, how you can spot one, and, most importantly, how you might already have one sitting in a jar at home. So grab your piggy bank and let's get into it. Breaking it down, why is this penny worth more than a mansion? Alright, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. It's not made of gold. It's not secretly a rare relic from the Roman Empire. So why is it worth a small fortune? Turns out, it's a one-of-a-kind mint error. That means when it was made, something went horribly or beautifully wrong at the US Mint. This penny was struck on the wrong planchet, fancy coin nerd word for blank metal piece. It has a rare doubling error that makes Lincoln look like he's had one too many cups of coffee. It has no mint mark, meaning it wasn't stamped with a letter indicating where it was made. Combine those mistakes, and boom, you've got a coin worth more than a Lamborghini. How do you know if you have one? Now, before you go, flipping over every penny in your house like a mad treasure hunter, here's what to look for. It must be a 2015 penny with NO mint mark. Check under the date. Look for any weird doubling on Lincoln's face, letters, or date if it looks strange or different from a normal penny. Get it checked by a coin expert if you do find one. Congrats, you've just hit the jackpot. If not, well, at least your couch cushions are a little cleaner now. Almost $5 million penny story now. I gotta tell you a personal story. A while back, I found a 2015 penny in my car's cup holder. I got all excited, thinking, this is it. I'm rich. Time to retire. I rushed to a coin expert only to be told it was just a regular penny. Devastating. I went from imagining a life of luxury to realizing I still had to pay for my coffee. But hey, at least I tried. The moral of the story? Check your pennies. You never know. Conclusion. Call to action, all right? Coin hunters, that's it for today's wild penny story. If you learned something new or just enjoyed laughing at my almost millionaire moment, hit that like button. And hey, if you want to know more about coins worth serious cash and how to find them, make sure to subscribe. I've got tons of tips, stories, and hidden treasure strategies coming your way. Today, we're talking about a tiny little coin that could make you a millionaire. Imagine this: you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change to buy a candy bar, and boom, you find a 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $6 million. That's not just pocket change. That's life-changing money. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world can a regular old penny be worth that much? Well, my friends, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Stick around because you might just have a fortune hiding in your piggy bank. First things first, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. The 2006 Lincoln penny was supposed to have a mint mark if it was struck in Denver or Philadelphia, but a rare batch was released without any mint mark at all. This little mistake has turned it into one of the most valuable coins out there. The reason? It's all about rarity. Collectors go absolutely nuts over coins with errors, especially when they're this uncommon. Now, here's the kicker. The most recent sale of one of these bad boys was for a whopping $6 million. That's more money than most people make in a lifetime, all for a 1-cent coin. So what does this mean for you? It means checking your pennies has never been more important. Next time you get some change, don't just toss it in a jar. Give it a good look. You never know what you might find. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Joe, used to laugh at me for obsessing over pennies. It's just a penny, he'd say. But one day, he found an unusual-looking 2006 penny in his old change jar. He almost spent it at a vending machine but decided to check its value first. Turns out it wasn't the million-dollar penny, but it was still worth a few $100. Moral of the story? Never underestimate your spare change. Now, if you're wondering how to spot one of these golden, or rather, copper, tickets, here's what you need to do. Look for a 2006 penny without a mint mark. If it has a D or P under the date, it's just a regular penny. Check the condition. The better the shape, the higher the value. If you think you've got a winner, get it verified by a professional coin grading service. Trust me, you don't want to accidentally spend a fortune on a pack of gum.so. What have we learned today? Always check your change, even the boring old pennies. You might just be holding onto a $6 million treasure without even realizing it. And even if you don't find the specific penny, there are tons of valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. Now, here's where you come in. If you love learning about coins that can make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more tips, tricks, and stories about valuable coins, so you never miss out on a potential jackpot. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, tell me about it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for spare change to buy a snack, and boom, you find a penny. But not just any penny. This bad boy is a 1996 D Lincoln penny, and guess what? It's worth $6 million. Yep, you heard me right. $6 million. Suddenly, that couch cushion is looking like a gold mine, huh? So, let's break this down. Why is this seemingly ordinary penny worth more than a mansion? What makes it special? And most importantly, how can you find one? Alright, let's talk details. The 1996 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is what the little d under the year stands for. Now, most of these pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. Nothing to write home about. But every now and then, a rare error coin sneaks through production, making collectors lose their minds and their wallets. The $6 million version of this penny is so valuable because of a rare minting error. Experts believe that a small batch of these pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchet, possibly from an experimental batch meant for another denomination. This means the weight, color, or even the metallic composition could be different from your average penny. And collectors? Oh, they'll pay big bucks for something like that. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, casually browsing through an old man's coin collection. He had a little tin full of pennies, each priced at $0.25. I was about to walk away when I spotted a 1996 D penny that just looked off. The color was slightly different, and it felt heavier in my hand. I bought it, thinking, hey, if anything, I'm out 25 cents. Turns out, after getting it checked, it was worth a couple $100. Now, it wasn't the ultra-rare $1 million one, but it taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your change. So, how do you know if you have the golden ticket of pennies? First, look for the D mint mark. Then, examine the weight. Regular pennies weigh about 2.5 grams, so if yours is noticeably different, you might be onto something. Check the color and feel of the coin. If it seems off, get it professionally graded. Trust me, if you've got one of these, it's worth every second of effort to check. Now, let's talk cash. If you somehow find the 1996 D penny that's worth $6 million, you're set for life. But even if you find a rare error version that's not quite at that level, you could still be looking at thousands of dollars. Not bad for a penny, right? So here's my challenge to you. Go check your piggy banks, your car cup holders, your old coin jars, even your grandma's purse. You never know where treasure is hiding. And if you find something cool, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your coin hunting success stories. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always dropping videos on rare coins, hidden treasures, and how to turn your pocket change into serious cash. Don't miss out. Your next big find could be right under your nose. Today, we're talking about a tiny, ordinary-looking penny that could make you an instant millionaire. That's right, the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. Imagine that 1 cent turning into $8 million. That's the kind of glow-up we all dream about, so stick around because I'm about to break down why this little penny is making waves in the coin collecting world and how you might just have one lying around. Alright, let's start with what makes this penny so special. On the surface, it looks just like any other Lincoln penny from 1988, but the key detail here is that it has no mint mark. Usually, pennies from that year would have been minted in Philadelphia, which typically doesn't include a mint mark, but this particular coin has some unique characteristics that set it apart from the millions of regular 1988 pennies. First off, the transition year. 1988 was a weird time for the US Mint. They were shifting engraving styles, and in the process, a small batch of pennies ended up with a reverse design meant for the following year. Yep. The 1988 penny actually has the 1989 design on the back. It's like the coin got a sneak peek into the future and was like, yeah, I'll take that now. The real kicker, rarity. This error happened in an extremely limited number of coins. Experts estimate that only a handful exist in mint condition, making them one of the most sought-after pennies in the world, and collectors go absolutely wild for rare transitional errors. That's why when one of these beauties showed up at an auction, the bidding war shot its value up to a staggering $8 million. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story about how I almost had a heart attack over a penny. I was at my grandma's house one summer, and she had this massive jar of pennies sitting there. I started sorting through them just for fun, like a true coin nerd, and bam, I found a 1988 no-mint mark penny. I lost my mind. I ran straight to my phone, heart pounding, checking every little detail on that coin for the telltale signs of the rare variety. Then I realized mine was just a normal 1988 penny. I was devastated, but hey, at least I found a couple of wheat pennies, so it wasn't a total loss. Moral of the story, always check your change because you never know when you might strike gold or copper. So, what should you do if you think you have one of these rare pennies? First, don't spend it seriously. Don't be the person who accidentally buys a gas station snack with an $8 million penny instead. Carefully inspect it under a magnifying glass. Look for that 1989 reverse design. Compare it to a known example online or take it to a reputable coin dealer. If you've got the real deal, congratulations. You just hit the jackpot, all right? Folks, That's the story of the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $8 million and potentially sitting in someone's spare change jar right now. If you found this video helpful or just love the idea of making millions from pocket change, smash that like button. And hey, if you want more tips on valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn everyday pocket change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming next now. Go check your pennies and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. Happy hunting. Today we're talking about the 1987 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, the one sitting in your coin jar right now, worth a mind-blowing $7 million. Alright, let's rewind for a second. I know what you're thinking. How can a regular OL penny be worth that much? Did Lincoln himself sign it? Is there a hidden treasure map on the back? Not quite, but this coin has a story that makes it more valuable than you'd ever expect. So here's the deal. The 1987 penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't stamp a mint mark on its pennies. Most of these coins are common and worth, well, a penny. But here's where it gets juicy. A small number of these coins were struck with a major error, whether it was a rare misalignment, a unique doubling effect, or even a high-grade condition that survived against all odds. That's what makes it incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk numbers. Typically, a 1987 no-mint mark penny in circulated condition is worth face value, yup, just 1 cent. But if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially with a rare error, it could fetch thousands. And here's the kicker. One of these rare beauties was recently sold at auction for a whopping $7 million. That's not just life-changing money, that's quit your job, buy a yacht, and name it penny kind of money. This reminds me of a time when I almost hit the jackpot. Well, almost. A few years ago, I found an old jar of coins at my grandma's house. I thought, this is it. I'm about to retire early. I spent hours searching through every single penny, armed with a magnifying glass and dreams of becoming a millionaire. And guess what? Not a single rare coin. Just a whole lot of pocket change and one really suspicious-looking wheat penny that turned out to be a Canadian coin. Yep, my dreams were crushed. But hey, that's the fun of coin hunting. You never know what treasure you might find. So what's the lesson here? Check your pennies. Seriously, take a second to dig through your couch cushions, your car cup holder, or that weird junk drawer we all have. You might just be holding on to a fortune without even realizing it. And if you love learning about coins that could make you rich, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm always dropping tips on rare coins, valuable errors, and smart collecting strategies. Who knows? Your next lucky find could be worth millions. Don't miss out. Subscribe now, and let's turn pocket change into a payday. I'm going to break down why this little copper beauty is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and of course, share a hilarious personal story about a penny that almost changed my life. Almost so. What makes this 1985 penny so special? Well, this isn't your everyday, run-of-the-mill penny. We're talking about an extremely rare error coin. Minting mistakes can skyrocket a coin's value, and this one is like winning the coin lottery. Now, let's talk details. The 1985 penny that's worth $5 million has a unique error. It's a double die obverse. This means the design on the front of the coin was accidentally struck twice, creating a slight overlap in Lincoln's profile and the lettering. If you spot a penny where Liberty or the date looks a little wonky, hold on to it like your life depends on it. And here's where things get wild. One of these error pennies recently sold for an insane amount of money at auction. Imagine walking into a gas station, paying for a snack with some spare change, and accidentally handing over a penny that could buy you a mansion. That actually happened to a guy in Texas. True story. He found a weird-looking penny in his collection, had it checked out, and boom, he's now a millionaire. Now, here's a personal story for you. A few years back, I was digging through my old coin jar, and I swear I saw a 1985 penny that looked kinda odd. My heart was racing. Was this the one? The $1 million jackpot? I grabbed my magnifying glass. Yeah, I have one. I take my coins seriously. And just as I was about to inspect it, my dog, Buddy, jumped up and swallowed it. Gone. Just like that. I spent the next few days watching Buddy very closely, if you catch my drift. Let's just say I never found that penny again. But hey, Maybe Buddy's carrying around a $5 million fortune in his belly. So, next time you come across a 1985 D penny, don't ignore it. Check for that doubling error. Could be the difference between loose change and life-changing money. And hey, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of tips on spotting coins that could be worth a fortune. And trust me, you don't want to miss out. Who knows? Your next big payday could be sitting at the bottom of your couch cushion. Today, we're talking about the 1964 D Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire overnight. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your house, stick around because I'm going to break down what makes this coin so valuable, how you can spot one, and of course, a personal story that'll make you never look at pocket change the same way again. Let's get into it. So, what's the deal with the 1964 D Lincoln penny? At first glance, it looks like your everyday run-of-the-mill penny. But not all 1964 D pennies are created equal. This particular one is so rare because of a unique error that collectors are absolutely obsessed with. Now, what kind of error are we talking about? Well, legend has it that some 1964 D pennies were struck on leftover silver planchets from the time when the US Mint was transitioning from silver coins to copper nickel. Others believe it has to do with an ultra-rare misprint or an unusual strike that gives it a unique look under magnification. Either way, if you have the one, you're looking at millions. Now, let's talk market value. In top-notch condition, this bad boy has been auctioned off for a jaw-dropping $4 million. That's a luxury mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or like a lifetime supply of tacos. Imagine telling your landlord, "Yeah, I'm moving out because I found a penny in my sock drawer." Speaking of lucky finds, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, my friend Jake called me up, absolutely losing his mind. He had just gone through his late grandfather's old coin collection and found a 1964 D penny. He was already planning his dream vacation, talking about quitting his job. But guess what? He took it to a coin dealer and it turned out to be just a regular penny, worth 1 cent. I've never seen a man go through all 5 stages of grief that fast. Moral of the story? Always double-check with a professional coin appraiser before you start spending that imaginary fortune. Alright, so what did we learn today? 1 penny can change your life, if it's the right one. If you have a 1964 D penny, give it a close look. Check for any unusual markings, errors, or anything that makes it different. And if you think you've struck gold or, well, copper, get it appraised ASAP. If you love learning about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more hidden treasure stories coming your way. And hey, if you find a valuable coin, don't forget who told you about it first. Maybe send me a finder's fee or at least a thank you comment. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it's worth $4 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up because today we're talking about the 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire overnight. Now, I know what you're thinking, how does a modern penny become worth that much? Did it time travel? Was it blessed by Lincoln's ghost? No, but the story behind it is just as wild, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your spare change. Body. Alright, so let's start with the basics. This special penny comes from the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't put a mint mark on its coins. That part's normal. But what makes this particular 2014 penny so valuable? Well, it's all about a rare error that only a few of these coins have. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal blank used was not your typical zinc and copper mix. Instead, these pennies were accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets from decades earlier. The result? A coin that looks normal at first glance but is actually a 1 in a million mistake. And in this case, that mistake is worth $4 million. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was digging through my coin jar. You know, that thing we all have sitting on a dresser collecting dust. I wasn't looking for anything special, just some quarters for the vending machine. But then, I saw this older-looking penny mixed in with the rest. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be a rare one? I ran to my computer, did some research, and nope, just a regular old penny. But hey, that moment of hope? Priceless. And that's the fun of coin collecting. Every penny you check is a little lottery ticket, and you never know when you'll hit the jackpot. So, how do you know if you have the 2014 penny that's worth millions? First, check the weight. Regular pennies weigh about 2.5 grams, but this rare error coin weighs 3.1 grams because of the bronze planchet. You'll need a good scale. Trust me, it's worth the investment. If you find one that's heavier, get it authenticated ASAP because you might be sitting on a fortune. Alright, friends, time to check your piggy banks, couch cushions, and pockets because one lucky penny could change your life. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a future treasure hunting tip. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, or even just thought you did, drop your story in the comments. Let's swap treasure hunting tales and see who's got the best find. Today we're diving into a wild story about a 2000 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth wait for at $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million for a penny that you might just have lying around in your change jar right now. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever touched, let me tell you what makes this little copper beauty so special. You see, in the year 2000, most pennies were made at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. If a penny has a D on it, it was made in Denver. If it has no mint mark, that usually means it was made in Philadelphia and is just a regular penny worth exactly 1 cent, but not this one. Somewhere out there a rare error coin was produced and it's got collectors going absolutely nuts. What happened is that a small batch of these pennies were struck on experimental planchets, which means the metal composition was different than normal. A few of these coins slipped through the cracks and landed in circulation like little financial landmines, disguised as everyday change. Now you're probably wondering, how in the world did one of these end up being worth $2 million? Great question, my coin-loving friend. The rarity combined with the condition and a little bit of numismatic magic skyrocketed the value of this bad boy. Imagine buying a candy bar with a penny only to find out later you spent a small fortune. That's basically what happened when one of these pennies was sold at auction. Speaking of crazy stories, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin. I was digging through my old childhood piggy bank, you know, the one with the broken latch and stickers all over it, and I found a penny that looked a little different. My first thought was, meh, just another old penny. But then I remembered that rare coins sometimes look totally normal to the untrained eye, so I did what any sensible person would do and spent 3 hours deep diving into coin forums and YouTube videos. Turns out it wasn't worth millions, but hey, it taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your coins because you never know when you might be holding on to hidden treasure. So what should you do if you think you found a rare 2000 no-mint mark penny? First, grab a magnifying glass and look closely. If it seems off in color, weight, or design, don't just spend it. Take it to a professional coin dealer or send it in for grading because you could be sitting on a life-changing payday. If you love hearing about coins worth money and want to make sure you never accidentally spend a fortune on a vending machine, hit that subscribe button right now and don't forget to like and comment if you've ever found or almost found a rare coin. Who knows, the next big discovery could be in your pocket right now. Today we're talking about a penny that's worth more than most houses. That's right, a 1993 D Lincoln penny recently sold for a jaw-dropping $3 million. $3 million. For a coin that most people toss in the bottom of their purse or let rattle around in their car cup holder. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions like a pirate searching for buried treasure, let's break down why this little copper beauty is worth a fortune and how you might just have one hiding in your changed dough. And stick around, because at the end, I'll share a quick story about the time I almost had a rare coin and completely messed it up. It still haunts me. So, why is a 1993 D Lincoln penny worth a ridiculous amount of money? What makes it special? Did Abraham Lincoln personally bless it? Not quite, but close. This particular penny is a one-of-a-kind mint error, a mistake made at the US Mint that slipped through quality control. And when collectors find an extremely rare mistake, they go nuts for it. Think of it like a baseball card misprint, but shinier. What kind of error? This 1993 D penny has a double die obverse, meaning some of the design is doubled, making Lincoln's face and letters look a little drunk. But the biggest reason this penny hit the $3 million jackpot is that it was struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc, which the mint had switched to in 1982. The government wasn't supposed to make pennies out of this metal anymore, but somehow a few rogue bronze blanks made it into the machine. Oops. How can you spot one? If you want to check your pennies, here's what you need to do. It should be below the date, meaning it was made in Denver. A normal 1993 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. But the rare one weighs around 3.1 grams because it's bronze. Use a magnifying glass and look at the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If they look blurry or doubled, you might be in luck. And if you find one, Do not spend it on gas station snacks. Get that thing certified by a grading service ASAP. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost had a rare penny but totally blew it. A few years ago, I found an old 1955 penny in my grandpa's jar. It looked weird, kinda doubled. I thought, huh, cool. And I spent it on a soda. Fast forward a month later, I saw a video about the famous 1955 double die penny being worth thousands of dollars. That soda probably tasted like regret. Always check your change before spending it. You never know when you're holding on to a small fortune, so next time you get a handful of pennies back from the store, don't ignore them. You could be walking around with $3 million in your pocket and not even know it. If you love learning about coins worth crazy money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more hidden treasure stories coming your way. And who knows, the next rare coin jackpot could be sitting right in your wallet. Today, we're talking about the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that recently shocked collectors by selling for a whopping $1 million. Yep, that's 6 zeros for a little old penny. So what makes this coin so special? Why is it worth more than a fully loaded sports car? And most importantly, do you have one sitting in your piggy bank right now? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be sprinting to your nearest coin jar like you just won the lottery. Body. First, let's break it down. The 1991 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, but here's the kicker. Some were struck without a mint mark. That's right, no tiny little P under the date. Now, normally that might not sound like a big deal, but in the world of coin collectors, small details mean big money. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does a missing mint mark make a penny worth $1 million? I mean, it's still a penny, right? Well, here's where things get wild. Only a handful of these error pennies have ever been found. Experts believe it was a mistake at the mint, where the die meant to stamp the mint mark was left out. It's like forgetting the cheese on a cheeseburger, except instead of ruining lunch, it accidentally created a collector's gold mine. Before you start emptying your piggy bank all over the floor, let's talk about how to spot one. Look for a 1991 penny. If there's no P, D, or S there, you might be in business. If your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, it might not be worth much. But if it's shiny, crisp, and in mint condition, jackpot. Speaking of which, let me tell you a quick story. A guy I know, let's call him Dave, was sorting through his change at a gas station. He notices a 1991 penny that looks a little off. Being a casual coin collector, he decides to take it home and check it out. Long story short, it turns out to be the $1 million penny. He almost spent it on a pack of gum. Imagine that, trading a life-changing amount of money for some breath mints. The moral of the story? Always check your spare change before spending it on vending machines. Alright, so now you know why the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is worth a fortune and how to check if you have one. If you're a coin collector, a treasure hunter, or just someone who could use an extra $1 million, start looking through your coins today. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins, collecting strategies, and hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You never know. You might just be holding on to another rare coin that could change your life. Today, we're diving into the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a rare and valuable error coin that has collectors shelling out big bucks. So, if you've ever tossed your pennies into a jar without a second thought, you might want to go grab that jar right now. And stick around, because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this penny so rare, how to check if you have one, and what you could do with $2 million if you do. Hint: it involves a lot of tacos, or maybe a mansion, but mostly tacos. Now, let's get into it. Alright, so what's the deal with the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why is it worth more than a Lamborghini? First, some quick history. In 1982, the US Mint was making some big changes. They were transitioning from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc because, believe it or not, it was getting too expensive to make pennies out of copper. Yep, making one penny was costing more than a penny. Gotta love government efficiency. During this transition, they also shrunk the size of the dates numbers on the coins, creating what collectors call large date and small date varieties. But here's where it gets crazy. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark, meaning they don't have the little D for Denver or S for San Francisco under the date. Now, missing mint marks usually aren't a big deal, But in 1982, this was not supposed to happen. The Philadelphia Mint normally didn't use a mint mark at the time, but a rare error coin surfaced with the wrong metal composition and no mint mark. And that, my friends, is what makes it worth millions. Now, imagine this: you're at a gas station, digging for change to pay for a soda, and you casually hand over a $2 million penny without realizing it. That is exactly what happened to a guy named Mark in Ohio. He had one of these rare pennies for years, completely unaware. One day, he saw a coin collector's post online about the 1982 no mint mark rarity, checked his jar, and boom, he was holding a fortune in his hand. I don't know about you, but if I ever found a $2 million penny, I'd be calling my boss immediately like, yeah, I won't be in today or ever again. So how do you check if you've got one? Here's what to look for. Make sure it says 1982. If it's not, put it back in your piggy bank. Look under the date. If you see a D or S, sorry, not the jackpot. If it's copper, you're in the money. If it's zinc, no dice. Pro tip: drop it on a table. Copper makes a ringing sound. Zinc sounds dull. The valuable one is the small date copper version with no mint mark. Now, let's talk about the big question: what's it worth today? Well, buckle up, because one of these sold for a mind-blowing $2 million at auction. That's not a typo. Some lucky person turned a penny into millions. Imagine explaining that to your financial advisor. All right, let's recap. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny is an absolute unicorn in the coin world. It's rare, valuable, and could be sitting in your coin jar right now, so here's your homework. Go through your pennies, check those dates, and if you find one, do not spend it on a vending machine snack. Instead, take it to a coin expert ASAP. And if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to find treasure in your pocket change. Oh, and drop a comment. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's hear those crazy stories. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that a regular-looking 1980 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, could be worth a whopping $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1 million. And now you're probably side-eyeing that jar of coins in your kitchen. Huh. All right, let's dive in. So, what makes this 1980 no mint mark penny so valuable? Normally, 1980 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark. But every now and then, the mint produces coins with errors, rare variations, or unique features that collectors go absolutely wild for. And this particular penny, it's got the golden ticket of errors that makes it a collector's dream. First, let's talk about what to look for. If you have a 1980 penny with no mint mark, pull out a magnifying glass and check for doubling on the letters or any unusual markings. Some rare variations include off-center strikes, wrong planchets, and doubling on the date. These little details can turn an everyday penny into a jackpot. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how did one of these sell for $1 million? Well, coin auctions are like the Super Bowl for collectors. And when an ultra-rare coin hits the market, prices can skyrocket. A few years back, a near-perfect condition 1980 no mint mark penny with a rare error was graded at an extremely high level. Bidding wars broke out and boom, someone dropped 7 figures for it. That's more than some people pay for a house. Let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, was going through his old coin jar, just looking for quarters for the laundromat. He pulls out a 1980 penny and thinks, hey, I saw a video about this being valuable. Because of course he watches my channel, right? Long story short, he gets it checked out, and while it wasn't the $1 million one, he still sold it for $500. Moral of the story? Check your change, folks. So what can you do now? Easy. Go dig through your penny collection. Look for a 1980 penny with no mint mark, especially in top-notch condition. If you find something interesting, get it graded by a professional coin service. And hey, even if you don't strike it rich, who knows? You might find a different rare coin worth some serious cash. If you love learning about hidden treasures in everyday coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips coming your way on how to find valuable coins, where to sell them, and how to make the most out of your collection. Today, we're talking about a simple little penny. Yep, Just 1 cent. That's now worth a mind-blowing $6 million. That's right, the 1976 D Lincoln penny could be the biggest hidden treasure sitting in your coin jar right now. Now, before you start dumping out your couch cushions, let's talk about why this little copper beauty is making collectors go absolutely nuts. But first, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through an old jar of coins. The seller gave me that look, the "oh great, another coin nerd" look. I fished out a penny, handed him $1 for the whole jar, and walked away feeling like a champ. Was it a 1976 D $1,000,000 penny? No. But I did find a pretty rare wheat penny worth a couple $100. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Alright, back to business. The 1976 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, and most of them were just your regular, everyday pennies. But a few special ones have errors or unique characteristics that make them worth serious cash. So, what makes this particular penny worth $6 million? Here's the deal. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on silver planchets instead of copper. A penny that's not really a penny? Jackpot. If you look closely at Lincoln's profile and see a slight doubling effect, congrats, you might be holding a fortune. A standard 1976 D is common, but if yours is in perfect, untouched condition, a high-end collector might pay insane money for it. Now, let's talk about the $1,000,000 question. How do you know if you've got one? First, check the weight. Regular pennies weigh 3.11 grams, but the rare silver-struck errors weigh slightly less. You'll need a jeweler's scale for this, but hey, it's a small investment for a potential life-changing discovery. Next, grab a magnifying glass and inspect for doubling, especially on the date and the word Liberty. Finally, if you think you've got a special one, get it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm if your penny is truly a 1 in a million or $6 million find. So, what would you do with $6 million? Would you finally buy that dream car, pay off your house, or just casually tell your friends, "Yeah, I made millions from a single penny"? Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you spot valuable coins hiding in plain sight and turn your spare change into serious cash. Like this video, drop a comment if you think you have a rare coin, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy hunting! Today we're talking about the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there. Yeah, you heard me right, $8 million. That's more than some mansions, luxury cars, or about 800 million regular pennies. So, before you go spending your pennies at the vending machine, stick around, because I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about this insanely valuable coin, including how to spot one, why it's worth so much, and how you might have one sitting in your piggy bank right now. Let's get into it. Alright, let's break this down. So, what makes the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny special? Isn't it just another boring old penny? Nope. This little copper beauty has a wild story behind it. The no-mint Mark mystery-most pennies have a little letter under the date, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or nothing for Philadelphia. So, this penny technically shouldn't be that rare, except for one big mistake. Back in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of pennies, but a tiny number of them were made with a major double die obverse, DDO error. This means that the design was struck twice, causing some serious doubling on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. This error makes the coin super noticeable, kind of like when you accidentally send a text twice and immediately regret it. Except, instead of embarrassment, this mistake made some lucky people rich. Why so valuable? Okay, so you might be wondering, why would someone pay $8 million for a penny? Well, it comes down to three things. The 1972 DDO no-mint Mark penny is already scarce, but finding one in perfect condition? That's like finding a unicorn at a gas station. Coin collectors love errors, and this one is like the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. The demand is sky high. A regular circulated one might go for $100 to $1,000. But the one that sold for $8 million, it was in pristine, untouched condition, like it just rolled off the press yesterday. How to spot one in your change now? The $1 million scratch that $8 million question. How do you know if you have one? Look at Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look doubled or blurry, bingo, you might be holding a jackpot. Use a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone camera. This doubling can be subtle. Check the condition. If it looks fresh, it's worth a lot more. A relatable coin hunting story. I actually had a close call with a rare penny once. One day, I found an old coin in my drawer and thought, this could be worth something. My heart started racing. I grabbed my magnifying glass like I was Indiana Jones, and I checked every single letter, only to realize it was just a 1973 penny. Yep, 1 year off. Moral of the story? Always check. That one moment of excitement still makes me double-check every penny I see. Imagine the heartbreak of spending an $8 million penny on a pack of gum.so. What did we learn today? Check your pennies. Seriously, do it right now. That little copper coin sitting in your car's cup holder or couch cushion could be your golden ticket. And if you find one, well, let's just say you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Before you go hunting through every jar in your house, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips on coins worth serious money, and you don't want to miss out on the next $1 million discovery. Oh, and leave a comment. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's swap stories. Alright, happy coin hunting. We're talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. So, you're telling me that a single penny, yes, the same coin most people ignore on the sidewalk, could change your life? That's exactly what's happening in the world of rare coin collectors. There's one particular 1968 Philadelphia minted Lincoln penny floating around that's worth more than a luxury yacht. Why? Well, let's break it down. First, let's talk about why this penny is worth so much. The 1968 penny is usually made of copper and pretty common, but this one is different. It's got an ultra-rare minting error that makes it one of a kind. Some experts believe it could be a special proof coin mistakenly released into circulation, while others suspect a unique die variety. Either way, this bad boy is not your average piggy bank change. Now, let's put this into perspective. Imagine you're digging through your coin jar, pulling out pennies, thinking, just another 1-cent piece. Then boom, you spot a 1968 penny. You check it out, take a closer look, and before you know it, you're $8 million richer. That's enough money to buy an island or at least convince your friends you own one. And here's where things get personal. A few years ago, I was at my grandma's house, helping her clean up some old drawers. She hands me a dusty coffee can full of pennies and says, maybe you'll find something valuable in there. I laugh it off because, come on, it's pennies. But that night, I actually sat down and checked them coin by coin. Spoiler alert, I didn't find an $8 million penny, but I did find a wheat penny worth $50, which was still a win in my book. Moral of the story? Always check your spare change. So, what can you do to increase your chances of finding this golden ticket of a penny? Simple. Check your old jars, couch cushions, and grandparents' coin stashes. Look for 1968 pennies with unusual features, errors, or proof-like quality. If you think you've got something special, get it graded by a professional. And hey, if you don't find an $8 million penny, don't sweat it. There are tons of other valuable coins out there that could still put some serious cash in your pocket. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got even more crazy coin finds, money-making tips, and hidden treasures coming your way. Who knows? Your next penny might just be your ticket to millionaire status. You're grabbing a coffee, you get some change back, and bam, a 1961 penny. You think, cool, another penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1 million. Crazy, right? Well, today we're talking about the 1961 Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you might have one sitting in an old jar or stuck between your car seats. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So, what's the big deal with the 1961 penny? Alright, so the 1961 penny is part of the classic Lincoln cent series. It was minted in Denver, hence the little D under the year. Now, normally, these pennies aren't super rare. In fact, over 1.7 billion were made. Yeah, billion with a B. So you're probably wondering, why is one worth $1 million? The rarity factor: not every 1961 penny is valuable, but some ultra-rare errors and high-grade versions make them extremely sought after by collectors. Here's what you need to look for: mint condition. If your penny looks like it just left the factory, with a deep red color and no scratches, it could be worth serious money. The highest graded versions have sold for thousands. Rare errors. Some 1961 D pennies have weird mistakes, like double die errors, where the lettering or Lincoln's face looks slightly doubled, or off-center strikes. These mistakes can send the value soaring. Full red color, collectors love red pennies. Not brown, not dull, but that beautiful, shiny copper red. If yours has this, you're already in good shape. The $1 million penny story now, here's the crazy part. A while back, a collector found a 1961 D penny that had a unique double die error and was in flawless condition, graded MS 67 plus RD by the experts. This beauty shattered auction records, selling for over $1 million. Let that sink in. A single penny, something we literally drop on the ground and don't even bother picking up, sold for more money than a house. And this got me thinking, what if I had one so funny story? After hearing about this, I went full treasure hunter mode. I dumped out every single penny jar I had, crawled under my couch, and even checked the cup holder in my car, which, by the way, had enough loose change to buy me maybe a McChicken. Did I find $1 million penny? Nope. But I did find an old bus token, 2 Chuck E. Cheese coins, and a mystery penny from the 40s that might be worth something. So, partial win. But hey, that's the fun of coin collecting. Every penny has a story, and you never know what you'll uncover. Alright, so now you know the 1961 D Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket or, well, copper ticket to a huge payday. So go check your piggy banks, old wallets, and anywhere you might have spare change lying around. Who knows? Maybe you're sitting on a hidden fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more videos to help you find treasure in your pocket change. Today we're talking about a 2011 D Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $11 million. That's right, you could literally be holding a tiny piece of copper that's worth more than a mansion or a lifetime supply of pizza. And trust me, I'd take the pizza, but this penny is a close second. So what makes this 2011 D Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, as with all rare coins, it comes down to a mix of error, scarcity, and demand. The specific details of this coin include a unique minting error that makes it an absolute unicorn in the numismatic world. Imagine going to the grocery store paying with cash, and then realizing you just gave away a coin worth more than your car. That's the kind of mistake we're trying to help you avoid here. Now, let me tell you a little personal story. A few years ago, I found an old jar of pennies at my grandma's house. She always told me to check my change because you never know what might be hiding in there. I rolled my eyes, but humored her, and one day, bam, I found a wheat penny worth a couple $100. Was it life-changing? Not exactly, but it was enough to take grandma out for a fancy dinner and win some major brownie points. So moral of the story, check your change, folks. Back to the 2011 D penny. If you happen to have one with this special minting error, it could be your lucky day. Experts say the key things to look for are double die errors or mistruck designs. Sometimes these errors are small and require a magnifying glass to see, but other times they're obvious, like Lincoln looking like he has a twin or the date being slightly smudged. Either way, if you think you have one, get it checked by a professional coin grading service before you accidentally spend it on a pack of gums. So there you have it, a simple penny from 2011 with the Denver Mint mark. Could be the ticket to your financial dreams, or at least a really awesome story to tell at parties. Either way, it's worth taking a few minutes to check your spare change because you never know what might be lurking in those coin jars or couch cushions. If you found this video helpful or at least mildly entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more money-making coin tips. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest Lincoln penny finds of all time, the 2008 D Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. Yep, you heard that right, a single penny worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you own, let me tell you exactly what makes this coin so special and how you can tell if you have one lying around. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's break this down. Why on earth would a 2008 D Lincoln penny be worth millions? The answer: errors. Minting mistakes are like typos, but on money, and collectors go absolutely nuts for them. This particular penny is rumored to have a double die error along with a unique off-center strike. Some experts even say there's a mysterious misalignment that gives it a one-of-a-kind look. Think of it like a rare misprint on a baseball card, but instead of a baseball player's face being slightly off, your penny could have an error that sends its value through the roof. Now here's where It gets crazy. One of these rare pennies recently sold at auction for $8 million. That's more money than most people make in a lifetime for a tiny copper coin. Imagine paying for a luxury car, or even a private island with something that could have been sitting in your couch cushions. Speaking of couch cushions, let me tell you a little story. So last year my buddy Greg called me up in a panic. He swore up and down he had found a rare penny in his car cup holder. He was ready to quit his job, book a trip to the Bahamas, and live the high life. Well, turns out his so-called valuable penny was just really shiny. Moral of the story, always double check your coins, but maybe don't quit your job just yet. So what's the takeaway here? Keep an eye on your pennies, especially those 2008 D Lincoln cents. If you spot one that looks off, take it to a coin expert and get it checked out. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? What's the most valuable coin you own? I'd love to hear your stories. We're talking about the 2007 D Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could buy you a mansion, a supercar, or at least a lifetime supply of tacos. I know what you're thinking. A 2007 penny? That's practically yesterday. But trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be double-checking every penny you come across. And stick around because I'll also share a personal story about how I almost missed a valuable coin hiding in plain sight. Spoiler alert, it still haunts me. Alright, so let's break this down. The 2007 D penny was minted in Denver, part of the classic Lincoln Memorial series before the 2009 redesign. Most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But there's a rare error variety out there that's so valuable it makes Bitcoin look like spare change. So, why is this coin worth $7 million? One word, errors. But not just any errors. We're talking about a rare misprint so bizarre that collectors are throwing money at it. Some reports suggest that a batch of these pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchet, meaning instead of copper-plated zinc, they were accidentally made using a super rare composition. The result? A coin that looks ordinary but is worth a fortune to collectors. If you've got one of these, you're basically holding a tiny piece of treasure in your hands. How can you tell if you have one? Here's where things get interesting. A normal 2007 penny weighs 2.5 grams. But the rare ones? They're heavier. If it's got a slightly different shine, like an old-school copper penny, you might be onto something. Some error coins have unique metal compositions that react differently to magnets. If yours acts weird, don't spend it. Take your coin to a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. A few bucks to certify your coin could lead to a multi-million-dollar payday. My almost tragic coin story. So, a few years ago, I was digging through some loose change, looking for old wheat pennies. I found this weird-looking penny. It felt heavier, had a darker tone, and just seemed different. I thought, meh, probably nothing, and tossed it back into circulation. Fast forward to a month later. I saw an article about a rare penny found in a gas station exactly like the one I had. My heart dropped. I literally had a potential jackpot in my hands. And I let it go for a soda. I've never looked at pocket change the same way again. So what's the lesson here? Check your pennies. The next time you get change from a coffee run, take a closer look. You might be sitting on a fortune. And if you find one of these rare 2007 D pennies, you just hit the jackpot. If you love learning about valuable coins and hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. I've got plenty more tips and crazy coin stories coming your way. And hey, before you go, drop a comment. What's the coolest or most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's swap stories. You're digging through your spare change at the gas station, just looking for enough to grab a soda, and bam, you spot a 2006 D penny. No big deal, right? Wrong. That little copper beauty could be worth a jaw-dropping $6 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Penny that could change your life. Literally. Stick around because I'm breaking down exactly why this coin is so valuable and how you could find one hiding in plain sight. Alright, let's get into it. The 2006 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver and normally it's worth, well, a cent, but thanks to some incredibly rare minting errors and a collector frenzy, a few of these pennies have skyrocketed in value. The reason? A specific batch was struck on the wrong planchet, giving it an unusual color and texture. Some also have a dramatic doubling effect, making Honest Abe look a little, well, extra honest. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Bob, was casually rolling up some pennies to take to the bank. He's not even a collector, just a guy who hates loose change jingling in his pockets. As he's counting, he notices one penny looks different. He Googles it, does some research, and boom, he realizes he's holding one of these ultra-rare 2060 pennies. Long story short, he cashed in for an amount that made his bank teller's jaw hit the floor. The current market value of this rare penny? A cool $6 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a sports car, and still have enough left over to never stress about gas prices again. So, how can you tell if you have one of these golden tickets? Here's what to look for. 2006 with a D below Lincoln's shouldered at IT might have been struck on the wrong planchet. If you notice any doubling or distortion, congrats, you might be holding history in your hands. Get it verified by a professional grading service. Because let's be real, you don't want to think you have $6 million, only to find out it's just a regular penny. That would be awkward. So what are you waiting for? Go dig through your piggy bank, your car's cup holder, that weird junk drawer in your kitchen. You never know where a fortune could be hiding. If you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm dropping more videos on rare coins that could make you rich, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Now go forth, check your pennies, and may the coin gods be ever in your favor. Have you ever found a penny and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one lucky 2005 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is worth $5 million? Yes, you heard that right. $5 million. Imagine buying a pack of gum with a penny and then realizing you just spent enough to buy a mansion. Stick around, because today we're diving into this jaw-dropping coin find, how you can spot one, and the hilarious mistake that led me to start checking every penny I come across. So what makes this 2005 no mint mark penny so valuable? It's all about rarity and errors. Somewhere along the line, a small number of these pennies were struck without a mint mark and with a unique flaw, making them insanely valuable to collectors. But here's the kicker, these pennies were circulating just like any regular penny. Meaning, they could be hiding in your couch cushions, in your car's cup holder, or even in that jar of spare change you've been ignoring for years. I actually have a funny story about this. A couple of years ago, I was at a gas station, and I dropped some change while paying for a snack. The guy behind me says, "Hey, you dropped a penny." And like most people, I shrugged and left it. Fast forward to today, and I'm now the person diving under car seats looking for lost change. Anyway, if you think you have one of these golden, copper tickets, here's what to look for. First, check for the date, 2005. Second, make sure there is no mint mark under the year. Most pennies from this year were made in Denver or Philadelphia, meaning they have a little D or P under the date. But if yours is blank, you might be holding history in your hand. The record-breaking sale of this penny happened recently when a lucky collector cashed in for an eye-popping $5 million. Now, obviously, not every 2005 no mint mark penny will sell for that much, but if you find one, it's worth getting it checked out by a professional coin grader. So what's the lesson here? Never underestimate a penny. That spare change in your pocket could be your ticket to an early retirement. Start checking your pennies, and who knows? You might just be the next person with a multimillion-dollar find. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post weekly tips on how to spot rare coins, maximize your finds, and even some crazy stories from fellow collectors. And hey, if you've ever had a moment where you found out something seemingly worthless was actually worth a fortune, drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Imagine finding a penny on the ground, tossing it in your pocket, and later realizing it's worth a cool $4 million. Yeah, $4 million. For a penny. Crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the 2004 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A tiny piece of change that could change your life. Now, before you start flipping over every penny in your couch cushions, let's talk about what makes this little coin so special. The 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look like any other copper-colored cent, but it's got a secret. Due to a rare minting error and its limited surviving quantity, collectors are willing to shell out millions for it. Here's the deal. This penny was struck without a mint mark, meaning it wasn't designated for any specific U.S. mint location. Usually, a Philadelphia minted coin wouldn't have a mint mark, but this one has some unique characteristics that set it apart. Some versions of this penny have a doubling effect on the date or Lincoln's profile, making them super rare. Others were struck on the wrong planchet, adding to their value. And then there are those that, for some mysterious reason, became the unicorns of the coin world. Now, I know what you're thinking. $4 million? Really? Yes, really. In fact, one of these pennies recently sold for that mind-blowing amount at an auction. That's the kind of money that makes you reconsider every coin you've ever thrown in a wishing fountain. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, digging through an old coffee can full of pennies. I found a 1943 steel penny, which I thought was my golden ticket. I rushed home, did some research, and, well, turns out it was worth about $2. Not exactly retirement money, but that's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you're going to hit the jackpot. Someone out there is going to find this $4 million penny, and it might as well be you. So where should you look for one? Check your loose change, those old piggy banks, even your grandparents' coin jars. You never know where a hidden gem could be lurking. And if you do find a 2004 no mint mark penny, get it checked out by a professional coin grading service, because if it's the real deal, you're set for life. Alright, my fellow coin enthusiasts, that's all for today's episode of Penny for Your Thoughts, literally. If you like this video and want more tips on finding rare and valuable coins, hit that subscribe button. Who knows? Your next penny might just make you a millionaire. Stay curious, stay lucky, and happy hunting. Today, we're talking about the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yep, a regular old penny that could make you a millionaire overnight. Grab your magnifying glasses and let's get into it. Alright, so what makes this little copper beauty worth more than a mansion? The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but its value comes from a super rare minting error. It was supposed to have a mint mark, but somehow, it slipped through the cracks at the Philadelphia Mint. And collectors? Oh, they love a good mistake. Now, let's talk numbers. In today's market, this coin is sitting at a mind-blowing $8 million. That's right, 1 cent turning into millions. I don't know about you, but I've spent way too much time looking for loose change in my car's cup holder. And now I have a new reason. And let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Mike, was casually sorting through a jar of pennies when he spotted an unusual 1988 Lincoln penny. He thought, probably nothing. But just to be sure, he took it to a coin dealer. Turns out, he was holding a rare variety, worth thousands. Now, did he get the $8 million jackpot? Nope, but that penny alone paid for his vacation to Hawaii. Moral of the story? Always check your change. So how do you know if you've got the golden ticket? First, flip that penny over and take a close look at the lettering near the date. If you've got a 1988 penny with no mint mark and certain subtle design variations, you might be onto something big. If you're not sure, have it checked by a reputable coin expert before you accidentally spend it on a gumball. Alright, coin fam, that's the scoop on the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a tiny copper coin could be worth millions? Now, do yourself a favor. Start checking those pennies. And if you find a valuable one, you better send me a postcard from your private island. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins that could be hiding in your pocket right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on another life-changing coin story. Oh, you're digging through your couch cushions for some spare change, and boom, you find a plain old penny. But wait, this penny isn't just any penny. It's worth $8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $8 million. Now, before you start flipping your sofa upside down, let me tell you exactly what makes this 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special, how to spot one, and why someone would actually pay millions for it. Plus, I'll share a quick story about how I once almost threw away a valuable coin. Big mistake. Alright, grab your pocket change and let's get into it. First things first. What's so special about the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Most pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1986 don't have a mint mark. So, if you're holding one, that's totally normal. But here's the kicker. There's a super rare variety of this coin that was struck on a leftover copper planchet from the pre-1982 era. That's right. It's not the usual zinc-coated penny, it's a full copper coin. Now, you might be thinking, Okay, so it's just a copper penny, big deal. But hold on. This coin is a huge deal because it was a total accident that this copper planchet even made it into production in 1986. Only a handful of these have ever been found. Some experts say there could be less than 5 in existence. Collectors go nuts over these types of mistakes. And when rare coins meet competitive bidders, the price goes through the roof. So, how do you know if you have one? Step 1. Grab a 1986 no-mint mark penny. Step 2. Weigh it. A normal 1986 penny, made of zinc, weighs 2.5 grams, but the rare copper version weighs 3.11 grams. Step 3. If it's heavier than usual, congratulations, you might just be holding $1 million mistake. And speaking of mistakes, quick story. A few years ago, I found an old coin in my change jar. It looked kinda weird, but I figured, it's just a penny. I tossed it into a vending machine for a Snickers. Later, I found out that coin could have been worth thousands. Moral of the story? Always check your change before trading it for a snack. Now, let's talk money. Point. One of these 1986 copper pennies recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $8 million. Why? Because wealthy collectors love rare coins, and when two rich people really want something, they bid until someone taps out. Simple as that. So, next time you find a 1986 penny, don't just toss it in a tip jar. Weigh it first. You could be sitting on a literal gold mine. Well, copper mine, technically. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always on the hunt for the next big coin story, and you don't want to miss out. Now go check your pennies, and if you find one, remember who told you about it. We're diving into the crazy world of rare pennies, what makes this one so special, and how you just might have a hidden fortune sitting in your pocket change. And hey, if you love finding money in unexpected places, hit that subscribe button because we're all about turning small change into big bucks. Alright, let's talk about the 1968 penny and why it could make you richer than your neighbor who just won the lottery. Okay, maybe not that rich, but close. So first things first, what's the deal with the S mint mark? That little letter under the date means this penny was minted in San Francisco. Normally, these pennies aren't super valuable. But, and it's a big but, a rare version of this coin has been graded as one of the finest ever found, making it worth that mind-blowing $8 million. Now you're probably wondering, what makes this penny so special? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and errors. Some of these pennies have sharp, nearly perfect details, which collectors go nuts for. Minting mistakes like doubling or off-center strikes, flawless surfaces. No scratches, no marks. Basically the Beyoncé of pennies, and let's be honest, who wouldn't want to find a penny that could pay off your house, buy you a sports car, and still have money left for tacos? Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, digging through an old jar of pennies. I found one that looked different. My heart started racing. Could it be rare? Could it be worth thousands? I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, checked the mint mark, and it was just a regular penny. Yep, my dreams of instant riches were crushed faster than a soda can at a tailgate party. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? The point is, you never know what's out there until you check. Conclusion: go grab your loose change. Check that piggy bank, your car cup holder, or even your grandpa's old coin stash. Look for 1968 penny and inspect it closely. If it looks mini fresh, get it checked by a coin expert, because who knows, you might be sitting on millions. And if you enjoyed this, hit that like button so I know you want more rare coin hunting tips. And don't forget, subscribe for more ways to turn your spare change into serious cash. Because, let's be real, we could all use a little extra money for pizza. Today, I've got a wild one for you, the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Hold on to your seats because one of these bad boys has been valued at a staggering $7 million. Yep, you heard that right. $7 million. And to think, some of y'all are still throwing pennies in wishing fountains. Big mistake. So what makes this penny so valuable? Well, let's dive right in. First off, let's talk about why it has no mint mark. Back in 1967, the US Mint was dealing with a coin shortage, so they decided to stop using mint marks on pennies to discourage hoarding. Joke's on them because people still hoarded them anyway. But here's the kicker, not every 1967 penny is worth millions. The one that hit the jackpot is a rare error coin with a double die obverse, meaning the design was accidentally stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date and lettering. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, once found an old penny in his dad's junk drawer and got excited. He called me up, saying, "Dude, I think I hit the jackpot." I rushed over with my magnifying glass like a detective solving a mystery, only to find out it was just a regular penny covered in 30 years of pocket lint. Poor Dave. I had to break the news to him gently, but we still had a good laugh about it. The moral of the story? Always check your coins, but maybe don't start spending your millions before you confirm it's the real deal. Alright, so how do you know if you've got a 1967 penny worth millions? Here are a few key things to look for. Look closely at the date and Liberty. If you see a doubling effect, you might be onto something big. This penny should weigh 3.11 grams since it's made of 95% copper. If it's drastically different, it could be a fake or an off-metal strike, which could be valuable in its own right. Condition is king. If your penny is in mint state condition, meaning it looks brand new, the value skyrockets. Coins with scratches and wear are still cool but won't buy you a mansion. Now, here's the fun part. If you think you have this penny, get it graded by a professional. You don't want to be that person who sells $1 million coin for $1 at a garage sale, only to find out years later that you basically gave away a Ferrari for the price of a soda. And hey, even if you don't have the $7 million penny, don't be discouraged. Tons of rare coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. That's why you should subscribe to the channel. I'll keep bringing you the best tips on spotting coins worth serious money and strategies to turn your collection into a gold mine. Plus, you wouldn't want to miss the next crazy coin story, would you? Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an interesting coin in your change. Who knows? Maybe your next penny is worth a fortune.